Dear students, now we shall discuss on nature and scope of regional economics. First of all, we should know what is general economics and what is regional economics. In general economics, we study about production, distribution and consumption of goods and services in a general framework, but we do not know where goods are produced. Production depends on regional factor rather than national factor. In regional economics, we study about where goods are produced. Here we know the influence of regional factors like rainfall, climate, topography, minerals, availability of natural resources. They determine production. That is why we see specialization in production in different parts of the country. Now we shall think of what is region, what is area. Many people think region and area both are same concept, but they differ in terms of content and meaning. Area is a general term we apply to any place. It is mainly based on certain geographical territory marked with boundary. We may say taluk is an area, municipality is an area, village panchayat is an area, village is an area. When we talk about a region, it has certain degree of homogeneity with respect to climate, rainfall, temperature, moisture content, evaporation rate, transpiration rate of plants. This homogeneity we observe in the case of region. So the production which is mainly based on regional characteristics, particularly for agricultural products. Next, we want to understand regional economics in terms of spatial economics. We know what is space. Space is said to be an area marked with a certain degree of homogeneity. So we say spatial factors in the process of production. In regional economics, we know spatial distribution of economic activities. All activities are not carried out in the same place, depending on availability of raw materials, depending on availability of infrastructural facilities, depending on availability of financial institutions, depending on availability of administrative structure and machineries. So spatial economics, what you understand, production in a particular place. Take for example, in India, some regions are food crops are mainly cultivated. In some regions, we see predominant cultivation of pulses. In some regions, we see predominant cultivation of oil seeds. In some region, we see predominant cultivation of commercial crops. Likewise, we observe regional variation in production of certain economic goods and services in different parts of the country. That is mainly based on specialization. In regional economics, what do you understand? Economic aspects in regional analysis. Economic aspects, what is economic aspects? Production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Regional analysis, what do you understand? Take for example, Tamil Nadu is a region, Kerala is a region. Take for example, Uttar Pradesh is a region. Each region has its unique features in terms of infrastructural facilities, natural facilities, environmental factors, climatic factors. They differ from one region to another. So economic activities are mainly based on regional in character, in the sense we cannot produce all goods and services in same places. So with this we understand what is region, what is area, what is general economics, what is regional economics. Now we would like to know whether regional economics is an independent subject, whether it is an interdisciplinary subject or transdisciplinary subject or multidisciplinary subject. We find a relationship between regional economics and other subjects. Take for example, now I would like to say the relationship between regional economics and sociology. We need knowledge of sociology. In sociology we know society, structure of society, composition of society, social institutions, social associations. They play a significant role in determination of economic activities. In economic activities, we know what to produce, where to produce, when to produce, how to produce. These are economic decisions. These economic decisions are influenced by social factors, because in India we see different type of regions where we see different types of population. Take for example tribal area, where we see tribal population, they are predominantly conservatives, they are deep rooted in traditions. So for them we need different type of development programs. So we should understand the sociological factors, then we plan for them. In this context we need sociological knowledge about sociological factors, or we need knowledge about social institutions. We see in India social institutions like caste system, religion, education, political system, and health system. They all influence the development programs. So we find a relation between sociology and regional economics. Then we would like to know the relation between regional economics and demography. We know what is demography. Demography is nothing but study of population, where we study about birth rate, death rate, migration. They are influencing development. So high birth rate indicates what, low birth rate indicates what, migration indicates what. So they play a significant role in taking decision about regional development. When there is more birth rate in a particular region, what is the role of government? Government should think of controlling birth, how to control, which type of birth control measures can be introduced. So in this context we need knowledge of demography. Then when there is more death rates, what is the role of government? Government should think in terms of how to control death, particularly infant mortality, neonatal mortality and maternal mortality. Then migration. We know migration is a process of movement of people from one place to another for the purpose of employment, education and other social purposes also. So we want to know the demographic features, how they influence the regional development. In this context, the knowledge of demography is essential. Then we would like to discuss the relation between regional economics and geology. There is a close relationship between regional economics and geology. In geology, what we know? We know about soil structure, mineral composition, water retention capacity, micronutrients in soil, macronutrients in soil, groundwater potential, soil moisture. They all collectively determine the agriculture production. We know agriculture production is not same in all parts of the country. Some regions are very fertile, some regions are not fertile because of geological composition of the region. That determines the production. So geological regions factors are very important to analyze the productivity of any particular region. Then we would like to know the relationship between regional economics and geography. In India, geographically we have different regions. Take forest region, mountain region, desert region, drought prone region, dry lands, wetlands, east-west regions. Likewise, we have different regions in the country. Each region has its unique features of development. So we need knowledge of geography. Then only we are in a position to identify and implement suitable development program for a particular region. Through geographical features, we are in a position to know about climatic condition, rainfall, temperature, altitude, and other related geographical features. They help us to know about particular development program for particular region. Then we would like to understand the relationship between regional economics and history. There is a close relation between regional economics and history. Through history only we are in a position to know what happened earlier, what type of development existed some 50 years ago, some 100 years ago. Take for example, in India we see widespread regional inequality in the process of development. It was because of historical region. Before independence, we know India was ruled by British people. They concentrated development only in cities. That is why we know cities are developed, villages are underdeveloped. So we need historical knowledge about particular region. Then only we are in a position to understand why some regions are developed, why some regions are backward, How historical factors pushed development in some regions. Historical factors retarded development in some regions. Now we would like to know the relationship between regional economics and history. Knowledge of history is essential. Then only we are in a position to understand what happened earlier. Why certain regions developed? Why certain regions underdeveloped? In this context, we would like to trace out the historical reasons and causes. In this context, I would like to tell something about our development, experience of Indian economic development. You know, India was ruled by British people. They concentrated development in cities in those times. Because of their efforts, we see development of cities like Chennai, Bombay, Calcutta, Nagpur and Kanpur, and other regions were neglected in the process of development. So we need knowledge of history to know about past trends in development, factors which were promoted development, and factors which were retarded development. Then we have to discuss the relationship between regional economics and statistics. We need knowledge of statistics. So through statistics, we are in a position to understand regional growth, particularly economic growth. We estimate growth in terms of state income, per capita income, regional income. We want to make comparison among different regions. In this context, we make use of measures of central tendency like mean, median and mode. Then we want to study about the variation or the differences among regions with respect to levels of development. In this context, we make use of statistics like coefficient of variation and analysis of variance. So knowledge of statistics is essential to study about regions and their levels of development. The next one is, we find some sorts of relation between regional economics and cartography. Through cartography, we are make use of development projections, expected development, targeted development, regional structure, topography, and other geographical features we know with the help of cartography. So we find a relation between regional economics and cartography. Thus, regional economics is said to be an interdisciplinary subject or multidisciplinary subject. Next, we would like to discuss on scope of regional economics. Scope, what do you understand? What we are able to study, what knowledge we gain with the help of regional economics. That is called scope. Regarding scope, first of all, I would like to discuss on physical elements and natural resources. You know, what are the physical elements? Physical elements in terms of forest. In forest, we study about forest economy, minor forest products, major products. These are the economic drive which we expect from forest economics. Then we study the value of the forest. Then role of forest in climatic regulation. In this context, we study about forest economics, resources from forest. The next we study about hill area. In hill area, we study about climatic features, crops grown in hill areas, people in hill areas, their economic structure, their economic behavior, how production, distribution and consumption of goods and services are taking place in the hill area. We know with this help of regional economics. Then we study about features of mountain with the help of regional economics. Mountain, we see particularly Himalayan region, mountain. What type of economic activities there? How production takes place there? How distribution takes place there? How consumption takes place there? So we study all things with the help of regional economics. Then regional economics and drylands. Take for example, we study about drylands, characteristics of drylands. What type of production can be decided in that region? Then drought prone area. We study drought prone area. In order to develop drought prone area, we have launched a massive program called Drought Prone Area Development Program. Like that, we study physical and natural elements like estuaries region, then coastal area. Coastal area, we see different type of economic activities. Nowadays, we see coastal areas have been severely affected by tsunami, because of the locational disadvantage there. We know tsunami has been severely attacked on coastal areas, coastal population were the major victims. Even today, coastal population are not free from tsunami fear because that region has certain type of disadvantages, certain type of disadvantages. Now, we find through this aspect what we learn: physical elements, natural resources, what type of economic activities can be decided, what type of production activities can be promoted, what type of possible infrastructure facilities can be developed. We know all things with the help of regional economics. The next aspect is regional economics. Through regional economics, what we learn, that is important. So through regional economics, we study about regional economic development. In India, we see all regions are not same with respect to levels of economic development, because some regions are having more income, particularly in terms of state domestic product, state income, state per capita income. They do differ from one state to another state. So we make use of certain economic instruments or economic indicators through which we can measure levels of regional development in different parts of the country. The next issue is measurement of agricultural development. Take for example, in India, all regions are not same with respect to levels of agricultural development. In this context, we make use of some indicators: grass irrigated area, percent of grass irrigated area, percent of net irrigated area, percent of grass sown area, percent of net sown area, percent of area sown more than once. Then we can use some more indicators to measure levels of agricultural development, like per hectare productivity, per capita productivity, area under commercial crops. Likewise, we can measure the levels of agricultural development in different parts of the country. The next aspect is we can measure regional variation in industrial development. In India, all regions are not same with respect to levels of industrial development. Some regions are highly developed, while others are backward. Why is this situation happens? Because of regional factors, regional conditions. Some states are industrially developed. What do you understand? Those states have attracted more investments and more efforts from government. That is why those states are developed. Some states are industrially backward. Why some states are industrially backward? Those states have not attracted investments from government. That is why such states are backward. This we know by analyzing the levels of regional development. Then next one is we study about educational development in different states. In India, we see regional variation in literacy. Some states are developed, some states are backward. Why this happen? Why Kerala occupies first position in literacy? Why other states are lagging behind Kerala? Because of the particular development efforts, concentration in that state. We see more literacy, more development. Whereas some states like Bihar, Uttaranchal, northeastern hill states, they remain backward educationally because of low attention, low concentration and improper motivation on the part of the government. That is why those states are remaining backward. So we want to find a solution to the problem. In this context, we need regional analysis. Next one is regional variation in health development. We study health development by using various indicators: fertility rate, mortality rate, infant mortality rate, neonatal mortality rate. Likewise, we use indicators relating to doctor-patient ratio, number of hospitals per 10,000 population, number of doctors per 10,000 population. By using such indicators, we can measure the levels of health development. Then we can measure the extent of infrastructural facilities in different parts of the country. We see much variation in infrastructural facilities. It could be noted that the states which have more infrastructural facilities have more development. Contrastingly, some states are low developed or underdeveloped because of low level of infrastructural facilities. That is why we want to have a balanced development. Next issue in regional economics, I would like to highlight on metropolitan studies and urban planning. You know what is metropolitan studies? First of all, we would like to know the structure and the composition of urban areas. In India, all urban regions are not same in terms of size, population and income. That is why we have classified towns into various types: large size towns, medium size towns, small size towns. Further, we would like to know the pattern of urbanization. Pattern of urbanization is not same in all parts of the country. Take for example, some states have more areas under urban concentration, while some areas or some states have less area under urban concentration. Higher the degree of urbanization indicates the higher the level of development. Hence, it should be taken as one of the indicators of development. So, regarding urban development, we better to recall Christeller's central place theory. That theory explains structure and distribution of towns in different parts of the country. He says central place is a place which provides goods and services to the surrounding rural hinterlands. That is what he called centrality. Centrality is the ability of a region to provide goods and services to other region, through which we are able to prepare regional plan for development of the region. In this context, we better to make use of Christeller's central place theory. Regarding urban size and structure, we need urban regional planning. But the problem is how to formulate urban regional planning. What needs can be assessed. So, in this context, we have to assess the civic services and civic amenities, requirement of population in different urban settlements. On the basis of that only, we are in a position to formulate better urban regional planning. The next aspect of or the next scope of regional economics is urban land use pattern or general land use pattern. Land use pattern differs from one region to another region. In the case of village, land use pattern is exclusively based on agriculture and its related activities. In the case of urban area, the land use pattern is exclusively based on non-agricultural activities. Take for example, in a village we assess the total land area of which percent of forest area, percent of grass cropped area, percent of grass irrigated area, percent of net irrigated area, percent of net cropped area, area under current follows, area under other follows, area sown more than once, area under permanent growth and cultural waste. Likewise, we can assess land use pattern in villages. When we assess land use pattern in towns, the situation is different. Percent of area under residential area, percent of area under commercial use, percent of area under recreational use, percent of area under administrative purpose of use, percent of area under health institutional purpose of use. Here the land use pattern is different. That is why we want to make a clear-cut distinction between land use pattern between rural areas and urban areas. Even among urban areas, we see different types of land use pattern according to the levels of development witnessed in different urban areas in any country. The next aspect of or the next scope of regional economics is study of regional inequality or regional disparity. What is regional inequality? Inequality in the sense we cannot see same type of development or homogeneous type of development in different parts of the country. So, regional inequality is a grave problem in the process of development. How to remove regional inequality? What are the causes? What are the direct causes? What are the indirect causes? What are the primary causes? What are secondary causes? So, we have to trace out such causes, such reasons. Then only we are in a position to solve regional inequality in the process of development. In this context, it is better to recall Gunnar Myrdal's theory of regional inequality. You know Gunnar Myrdal, he wrote Asian drama. He proposed regional inequality theory. according to him, there are two types of effects: spread effects, backwash effects. In a country, some regions are developed. From the developed region, the development efforts could be spread to backward region. This is what we call dissemination effect. This is called spread effect. What is backwash effect? Backwash effect, we understand. A developed area attracts, receives development efforts from the backward region in terms of movement of skilled labor from village to urban area, movement of capital from village to urban area, movement of skilled labor from village to urban area. As a result, the urban area will develop much faster, whereas the villages are neglected in the process of development. This situation what we called backwash effects. Country like India, we have strong backwash effects, weak spread effects, whereas the developed nations like USA, they have strong spread effects, weak backwash effects. What is our solution of development? We have to reduce or control the negative effects of backwash effects. This lesson we learn from Gunnar Myrdal's theory of regional inequality. Similarly, Hechtman also proposed a theory on inequality. According to him, there are two types of effects: polarization effects. Polarization, what do you understand? Polarization means concentration of developmental activities in a particular region. That is called polarization effect. The another one is said to be trickle down effect. Trickle down effect, what do you understand? It is a process of dissemination of development from top to bottom, from developed region to underdeveloped region, from prosperous region to low developed region. This is what we call trickle down effect. By knowing trickle down effect, we are in a position to understand how to promote growth in different parts of the country. That is important one. We are in a position to understand what are the causes of development. Suppose, for example, a region has high economic growth. What do you understand? High economic growth, how a particular region has attained? Because of there are certain favorable features, favorable characteristics. That is why some regions are highly developed. Take for example, villages where percolation effect is low, dissemination effect is low, trickle down effect is low. That is why villages are underdeveloped. So within this lesson, what we learn? What is regional economics? Relation between regional economics and other subject. Scope of the regional economics. I think regional economics is the best subject. In general economics, we are in a position to know general production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. But we are not aware of regional factors and requirements in the process of production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. I think regional economics is a better subject through which economists can much aware of economic problems and how to solve such problems. With these few words, I conclude my lecture.